What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? I'm blessed and back to be doing another interview. I think it's gonna be like my third interview in a day, or maybe I guess, or not in a day. Sorry, third interview in a row, doing one a day. I haven't been like that in a while, so it's either third or second. So I'm pretty happy to be in this position. But yeah, I'm blessed to bring it on right now. One of the rising stars in the 2022 class, Rich Rolf. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I guess before we really get this interview going, is there anything that you want to plug or anybody want to shout out?
Um, I just want to say a huge thanks to the Centerville basketball program. They really helped me out through my 4 years of high school.
Yeah, definitely a great shout out. And what a better way to start off this interview by talking about them. And this might not make sense in the order of like how I want to ask these questions, but I just want to make sure I get this out of the way. Um, I remember, I was a little kid, probably, ninth grade, something like that, watching my overtime content, and I see the whole Centerville basketball, I guess, series they had. What was your role in that, and what was it like, I guess, being a part of that?
It was definitely a cool experience. Being in front of the camera, ninth, 10th grade. Most high schoolers don't get that experience, but I'm glad I got the opportunity to do that with my teammates, and it just showed a little bit about the Centerville program.
Yeah. What was it like? I guess did some people maybe around your area or first teams you were playing, like were people like, oh shoot, are you like Rich Rawl from the overtime series or something like that? Like, would people start to recognize you just based off of that YouTube show?
Um, they wouldn't really recognize me, but they recognize the Centerville program, I would say.
Mhm.
And I feel like over time really expanded how many people saw us.
Yeah, that's definitely true because like I feel like I mean it's kind of obvious like majority of people I feel like that know high school basketball know who Gabe Cupps is just because he played on that North Coast Blue Chips team, like everyone knows about that, but like I didn't really know where he was from or what high school team like he played for, so I think kind of seeing that really like opened up almost like his story and really started to showcase the team a lot more. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think I don't remember, but like I feel like you guys didn't do I guess the best in that series. Like, you guys were a solid team, but I don't think you were playing like as good or anything. So would you say like you guys I guess got a lot better like over time, like this year now you're playing much better than you guys were back then? Oh.
Um, back back when I was a sophomore, when that show was happening, um, like we weren't playing as good as competition as we could, mainly because the teams want to, like the top teams really want to play us. So I feel like that show helped us get recognition and helped us play some of the best teams in the country.
Yeah. And would you say like so I'm assuming that was all like I'm assuming you were on varsity as whatever like sophomore or yeah, sophomore, freshman, whatever. Assuming Gabe was on that team as well. Like I'm assuming you guys were like a much younger team back then, right?
Yeah. So we like I played varsity as a freshman. Um, Gabe came in as a freshman. I was a sophomore, and then we were a pretty young team, still learning, still developing, and so back then we were just trying to get our feet underneath us, basically.
So what's kind of like the team like now, where you're a senior, Gabe's a junior, like now everybody's a little I guess much older. So what's kind of the team like now where you guys have a lot more older guys, I would say.
Um, Mainly it was just pushing us every day, trying to better ourselves every single day. Like our team goal for this year, me being a senior, Gabe and Tom, um, it was to we will not seek comfort, and I feel like not seeking comfort just doesn't come with like playing in games, but also like your daily life. So every workout, um, everything with school, like everything was to be the best version of yourself. And I feel like we applied that on the basketball court, and that's what helped us thrive this season.
and I think you guys went on a huge winning streak. I'm pretty sure. I know eventually that got snapped, I think. But what was it like going on that really long winning streak? Because it's one thing I feel like to win, like 10 games, 11 games in a row. But it's another thing when you're winning like 20 plus, 30 plus games. That's obviously like a lot of basketball games. So what was just that whole winning streak like, where you guys just couldn't lose for months straight?
Um, it was pretty special. Thinking back on it, but in the moment, we weren't really thinking about how many games we've won in a row or like who we were playing. It was just we were trying to get better every single day, and like surrendering the outcome, and winning was just the outcome of surrendering the outcome.
Yeah, and I feel like one thing that makes like winning streaks kind of tough. I don't know if you could agree. Is it's like when you're on a winning streak, I feel like in a way you might start to settle. You might be like, oh, okay, like we're playing this team with this record. They haven't won as many games as us. Like we're definitely gonna win, and when things start to get like a little easier, like in your mind, you think, and then you end up getting surprised. So how do you guys like avoid getting like those surprises?
Um, I feel like we avoided being complacent, mainly because of the group of guys I had around me. We always came in every day like thinking we had to get better, and so I feel like that's what made us not be complacent during our winning streak.
Mhm. And one of the bigger wins you had was versus Southern California or SoCal Academy. That was, I think it was either from that game or from something I saw on Twitter where I was really able to discover you and be like, oh shoot, this is the guy I really got to hop on. I think you dropped like basically 30 points that game. I think it was 29, 12, and with 7 threes, I think. So what I guess maybe what did that game mean for you? Because I feel like that's like a big exposure game.
Um, it really just boosted my recruiting. I wasn't getting recruited at the highest level. I was getting mid-major to low-major offers during the summer, and that really, with the help of like all these outlets of like Slam, Overtime, with that like with them helping me, it really like just boosted my recruitment.
Mhm. And I feel like playing with, a guy like Gabe Cupps, obviously you're kind of used to, I feel like some of the spotlight, like, you played 3SSB, like you've been around, I guess, big time basketball players, but in terms of like high school basketball and especially in Ohio, I feel like there aren't as many like big, like, nationally known powerhouse schools there. Like there's no Mount Ver, there's no IMG to really have the opportunity to play a game versus a national powerhouse, not even from your state, but from California, which is like filled with those kind of teams. I guess were you like excited? Were you a little nervous? How'd you really expect that game to go versus SoCal Academy?
Um, it was just another game for us, I'd say. Like in the summertime, we played some of the top players, um, like nationally ranked. Like that's one thing about the Centerville program is Coach Cubs is always scheduling the toughest opponents that we can play, and SoCal was on the schedule for this game, so we just came out. Fight ready is the term I would use, and we just came up with a win.
Mhm. And then you mentioned like the jumping in recruitment. What was that really like after that game, and how did you kind of deal with that going on like literally in the middle of your season?
Yeah, so recruitment picked up after that game. A few schools were Marquette and West Virginia recruited me a bit, but like I was just focusing on the season at hand. So now that the season's over, I've definitely picked up trying to find a place where I can fit in. But after the SoCal game, it was just try and finish the season strong.
Mhm. And I'm just curious, like I don't know if you just don't like update your Twitter that much or whatever, but I know that I guess last week actually you got an offer from it was last week. You got an offer from no sorry, the week before, 2 weeks ago, you got an offer from Duquesne, then you also got one from Charlotte. Did you receive like any other offers, from some of those more high major schools, or like those like the only two you received, I guess, after that game?
Um, and then there's a possibility I could walk on at Indiana as well for a high major, but those are the only schools as of right now that have offered.
All right, and I guess the reason why I was like really like asking that is because I'm sure you know who my takes hoops is now because I think he was a guy that at least kind of showcased you to me because he's kind of in the Ohio area. I'm down here in South Florida, so there's gonna be some athletes that I know that I'll be like, look, man, this is someone you got to check out. He'll see it on my page. So I saw you from his page, and I think he said like you're gonna be picking up some high major offers too or I guess soon. That's why I was like kind of surprised that's why I wanted to ask that question. Wait, crap, hold on. For some reason, I can't get your mic unmuted. Hold on a second. There you go.
I'm losing connection. Could you say that again?
Yeah. I was just saying, like I guess I kind of asked that question because I saw like his statement that he said that he thought you were gonna be that you were gonna receive some like big time offer soon. That's kind of why I was like, you're really curious because he's a guy like I trust. Like he'll put me on some athletes maybe in his area. Like he's from Ohio, so you're an Ohio hooper, obviously. So I kind of got put onto you from him. I'll show him some guys that I know in South Florida. That's kind of why I was like curious about that, is because I feel like when he says something, like I trust him. So that's why I was like really curious. But I oh, wait, were you gonna say something or no?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I'm getting recruited at the level I'm getting recruited at, so it's like that's all I really um, I've got. Like, so I have to choose a school in the next month with the options I have. So
Yep.
I'm just happy to be where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and of course, like even if you got an offer from a tons of high major programs, I guess you could also say like it's all about fit. It's not really about like going to the best school that offers you or anything. But I mean, after dropping basically 30 points against SoCal Academy, where some teams or people are saying like they're gonna make Geico Nationals, whatever. I'm sure after losing to you guys, you might have spoiled that for them a little bit, but people thought they were a really loaded team, especially with Dior Johnson joining them. So are you at all like maybe surprised that recruitment hasn't blown up for you too much even after doing that in that game? Because like for me, I've seen some players do things not even as crazy as that on like big national games, and those get blown up with offers. So like, are you at all surprised that it hasn't been as crazy as maybe like someone like me would expect for you?
I'm not surprised. I'm definitely happy where I'm at. I definitely want to find a school that wants me and just as much as I want them. So if a high major doesn't find a one in me, I'm glad to find a school that has a one for me, and I'd be happy to go there.
Yep. And as continuing on, I still want to really stick to the season before we maybe get into more stuff about your recruitment or just other more personal things. So I think this season, you guys, I don't think won the state championship, right? Let's see. It looks like you might have lost him. Um, let's see. I'm gonna DM him right now. All right, yep. Yeah, it looks like we lost him for a second, guys. But it's all good. I'll hop right back in here in just a second. And then we'll just continue on with the interview. But yeah, just maybe a little more background about him in the season. So again, like I said earlier, they won a huge winning streak. Well, let's see. I want to make sure we get our facts straight so we can really do some research on that. It looks like they lost a game to the state championship. I don't know what it's called. Oh, Pickerington Central, I think was the team that they lost to, I think. But they definitely had a great season. I just remember watching them actually just grow and develop. I just remember in the overtime thing, they weren't like, winning every single game, going on some big winning streak. Like they did pretty good, but I feel like it's nothing as good as they are now. So I think it's gonna be kind of interesting to hear about this progression of this team and also how they feel about this the state championship is what we're gonna really talk about now. All right, looks like he's back in here, so I'm gonna add him in right now. All right, everything good?
Sorry for that.
That's all good. Yeah, so I was gonna ask, I know you guys did make a pretty good run in your state tournament, but I think unfortunately you guys did not win. Um, how do you really feel about that kind of not ending your, high school career on the absolute best note?
Um, During the playoffs, Coach Cups was talking about a quote he used was "Love what is," and that's just like letting go of all the outside noise. And I'd say I'm definitely proud of my guys. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my teammates of what we accomplished. It's definitely not the way I wanted things to end, but I'm just glad what my team accomplished this season.
Yeah, and I guess would you like was that wasn't your first? I don't think. Like, did you guys ever win states? I think you guys did, but I'm not sure.
So we won the year before, and that was our first state championship in school history. So
Yeah. So I guess one, I mean, it wasn't this year. Like, congratulations on that. But do you think that winning that state championship made it all harder this year to win another one? Just because before that state championship, everyone's like, "Oh, this team's not experienced in states. Like, they never won before." Almost like just compares it to Gonzaga, where I feel like they haven't won an NCAA championship. Like, I don't know if they ever have won one, but it's almost like they're never going to win just because they haven't. So I feel like they're always taken lightly. Like, would you say that now after winning that state championship, now people are like, "Oh shoot, like the school's actually legit. Like they won one. You guys really prove yourself," and that's what made it maybe a lot harder this year.
yeah, I'd describe it as a target on our back. Um, a lot of teams I feel wanted to play us, would be pumped up to play us, and I just describe the season as having a target on our back.
Yeah. But I guess comparing this season to like any other season before, I feel like just playing with the guy like Gabe Cups, who he's a super well known, like basically like or I would consider him like a celebrity almost. Was there no really target on your back before this season, or is it maybe like even more of a target now that people want to beat you guys? Like, what do you think about that?
I'd say more of a target because we won a state championship the year before, but prior to that, we were just a well-coached team with Gabe Cups as our point guard. So people definitely knew about Centerville because of him, but people didn't really know about Centerville as a team, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. So then, I mean, let's kind of talk about the team a little bit. How do you think? Because I would say, even though we mentioned earlier, I'm like, man, I'm a little surprised you don't have, all these big time offers, whatever. I even just saw something like Slam Magazine, even said something like, that it said, it said tag an unsigned senior that needs offers. But obviously, like, you kind of cover that post and how I guess you dropped 22-11 in the regional title game. So obviously, they're referring to you. Like, you definitely need some more offers and everything. And I think you guys do. Like, you have TJ House, who he's going to FSU, big time program. But everyone always thinks of Gabe Cup. So what's really the rest of the team like at Centerville? Because people all they do is talk about Gabe, but you guys got a lot of great players on the team.
Yeah, so we're a public school. I've grown up with these guys since second grade, since first grade. We had 5 seniors this year, 2 senior managers that do a lot of things behind the scenes. And we had 2 juniors with Gabe, and so we had a good solid 8 to 9 man rotation, and these are just the guys I've grown up with since second grade. So our team chemistry was on point, as I would describe it. Just playing with a group of guys that you care about deeply, it just makes a big difference on the basketball court. I feel like when you're friends outside of basketball, it's just so much easier on the basketball court.
Yeah. And I guess another thing with Centerville, this is kind of something I remember, unless I'm wrong, but this is how it seemed like to me from watching those overtime series thing on YouTube. It seemed like you guys kind of lived in like a little to nowhere, or not a little, like middle of nowhere-ish area, would you say that's kind of like the community you live in? And if so, would you say that really like helps bring the team together? It makes everyone a lot closer just because, I feel like the team's almost like all you got.
Um, so we probably live 20 minutes outside Dayton, Dayton, Ohio. So like there's a city by us, but um, I'd say Centerville is a pretty big suburb. But besides that, there's not much around Centerville.
Hmm. And I feel like your school too, like I even saw you guys have like your own like Barstool account. Even though it's not technically like affiliated with Barstool, still like, I feel like the people around your school almost rally around you guys. I know your gym actually looks kind of nice. So what's kind of like the environment like, on a game day? Are you guys like almost like, the center of attention of the school?
Um, I'd say our student fan base and just our community really rallies around the basketball team. Um, since we were doing well, it just brought out the entire community to our gyms, especially with COVID last year. Um, no fans were allowed in our arena or stadium, and so just having the fans back was a lot of fun, and they were definitely pretty loud and cheering for Centerville.
Yeah, for sure. And we may talk about Centerville a little later, maybe not, but want to kind of just dive a little deeper into this recruitment and everything. So I guess when did you receive your first offer, and like what was it from? Like was it after like an AAU tournament? Was it just randomly like at a certain point? Like what I guess like when did you receive it, and like why do you think you got it?
I received my first offer from Radford University, and it was we were playing an AAU tournament the summer before my senior season, and it was don't quote me on this, but I think it was after we played Mikey Williams in Houston is when I got my first offer. So I just that's when I got my first offer.
Yeah, and I'm assuming like since you mentioned like the whole play Mikey Williams in Houston, even if you said that's not maybe what it's from, or if that's not even the reason, but you think it might be that, like I'm assuming you played pretty well in that game. It seems like you always really know how to show up in big games. I guess how are you really able to handle that task? Because that's like kind of hard to do when you're in a big game, a lot more pressure on you. How are you always able to show up and not fold in those situations?
Um, I'd mainly say it's the work I've put in. I'd go hard in all my workouts. I work out with multiple guys. I work out with Gabe. I work out with Tom. So when you're surrounded by great players that push you during the workouts, um, you're always in a game situation. And I feel like the people I surround myself with have just taught me so much, and it's led me to be able to play in tough situations.
Do you think that you almost play better like in big games compared to just in like games that don't really matter? Do you think you play better in the bigger games?
Um, you could say that. I'd say I definitely um, perform at a high level. Just because I've been in so many tight games, I feel like that's what's made it made me be able to play at a high level. Is I've just played in so many high level games.
Mhm. And then I guess kind of going back to the recruitment. Obviously, you did receive a handful of offers, but scrolling on your through your Twitter, and I saw I think a tweet you said, and this is what I was kind of curious about. Um, I don't know if you were committed before or anything, but you put like after talking to your family, whatever, you decided to reopen your recruitment process. So, were you ever like committed to another school before?
I was actually committed to Drexel prior to the season.
Okay, so I guess why did you choose to reopen your recruitment and just keep that going?
So I actually committed after my unofficial visit, and I went on an official visit to Drexel. Um, I had a great time, but Drexel just wasn't the right fit for me. Like nothing against Drexel, but it was just not the best spot for me, I thought.
Mhm. So then after doing that, because it's not like I feel like you didn't make the wrong decision. Like it's all about which school fits you best. but you could almost say it maybe is a little bit risky. Like, what if you happen to get injured or play like terrible the rest of the year? Then you almost like I feel like blew a chance that you had of playing like Division 1 basketball and getting a scholarship. So were you all nervous that maybe like it wasn't going to work out like the way it did?
Um, I I definitely had thoughts of second guessing, is this the right decision for me? I definitely had thoughts of investing in myself and saying, like, if I do reopen my recruitment, what will happen next? But overall, I'd say I made the right decision, and I'm happy that I did.
Yeah. And I guess you kind of mentioned, I mean, I feel like I wouldn't say time's running out, but we're getting into April, then you got May, and basically like in June or July, like you're gonna need to head up to college. So obviously, like common sense, your decision's gonna be coming up very soon. I guess what are you really doing I guess kind of get down to where you're gonna go? You got any like visits lined up? Are you expecting to even get more offers or playing any more showcase games? What do you really expect with that? And what do you think you're really gonna come down to that decision?
I actually took a visit to Liberty this past weekend, and then I had visits set up with Charlotte and Indiana, and then um, I'm trying to get all my visits done in the next month or so, and then because kids will be on campus in 2 months, so I'm trying to get my decision all figured out in the next month.
Hmm. What have the visits been like? I'm sure again, maybe a little bit stressful having to figure out where you're gonna go, but also like you're out of school, you're basically being told by people like how much they want you at a school, which I feel like is kind of cool. Maybe boost up your ego a little bit. I guess what have really all the visits been like for you?
Um, it's really been an eye opener. Um, I've been meeting different coaching staffs, um, different players, and it's mainly just seeing what coaching staff and what players I connect with the most. That will um, like help me make my decision.
So on like each visit, you get to like meet like each school's players and just be able to like talk to them and everything. And like, how does that work on a visit?
Yeah, so just with the visits I've experienced, usually I'm with only half the teammates on unofficial visits. But on official visits, I'm with all the players. So it's just like deciding what schools I want to take officials and what schools I want to take unofficials, and um, seeing like what happens from there.
All right, yeah, that definitely makes sense for sure. Do you have like it on maybe if you need to say like this visit was my favorite because I might kind of reveal anything about your recruitment, but maybe like a favorite moment because I'm sure all the visits are kind of similar. What maybe your favorite part of the visits are like whether it's touring the facility or meeting the players or coaches, like which I guess part of them are your favorite.
Um, so I'd say like I just enjoy spending time with the teammates because I'll be with them for 4 years of my life, and on like my most recent visit, I just remember just spending time with teammates and just playing cards and just relaxing, watching the NCAA tournament. So it's just connecting with the players that um, will help me like figure out what college is best for me.
For sure. And I guess I was kind of surprised when I saw like, I mean, you're in the class of 2022. I feel like anybody that's not really committed yet, I almost feel like, doesn't have any offers, like, doesn't really know what they're gonna do, and they're just hoping that at the last second some school is gonna kind of hop in and jump in on them. But your circumstance is like pretty unique where, you got a lot of offers and I guess you're almost one of the more fortunate ones. Like, what is the recruitment process like? What makes yours really different from anyone else because you got offers and everything, but you're still not really committed yet?
Um, I'd say what's made my situation unique is I got interest during the season. Um, well, some of these or undecided recruits are still trying to get noticed by colleges. So I'd say like just being blessed to have the options I do at this time um, is really unique for my situation.
Definitely. And now maybe going now into AAU, playing for the Midwest Basketball Club, a 3SSB team. I think you guys did pretty well. I would say, or I would assume, and you also got some good players on that team as well. Like you got, Reed Shepard. I mean, Gabe Cubs is in there. I mean, anybody really on a circuit team is good. So can't really say like there's anybody bad on there. Like every circuit team player is pretty much good, going D1, whatever. So it was like being a part of that program.
Um, Being part of Midwest was a blessing. I made friendships with all my teammates that will last a lifetime. And like AAU is such a short time; it's only a couple weeks compared to the high school season. So just being able to play, make friendships, and just play basketball, the game you love. It was just a lot of fun being with Midwest.
Do you have it all a favorite moment from, yeah, I guess, AAU basketball last season or last summer?
Um, just sayings we had, inside jokes. Like one thing I'd say is like whenever someone made a good play or like something was funny or mainly a good play, one of my teammates would say "kid's good" in like some like random voice, and so that was just an inside joke with my team.
Hmm. And I guess someone that is on that team that looks like a pretty good relationship. Ben Sutherland. I know. I think he's committed to Liberty. I actually took a visit with him. What was it like going on a visit with like one of your buddies and being able to kind of imagine in your head like we could both be like at college together, on the same team next year?
Just being with a teammate for the next 4 years of my life would be truly special. I I didn't know Ben very well before our AAU season together with Midwest, but we made a great bond, and it was great being able to take a visit with him.
Mm. And now it's a couple questions more just to like, wrap up the interview, kind of add more things on like positive note, looking into the future. Your high school season's all said and done, and you are a senior. So, the whole career, high school, unfortunately, like has come to an end. That chapter is done. Looking back from your freshman year, I'm sure you set some goals for yourself. Even if you didn't write them down, I'm sure you got things you wanted to accomplish mentally or you had in your head mentally. How do you think you really did in terms of accomplishing those goals? Like, are you kind of satisfied with your high school career?
Yeah, so actually, my freshman year, I tore my meniscus in a basketball game, and I'd probably say that was the best thing that could have happened to me. Um, prior prior to my sophomore year and so on, I couldn't shoot a shot. So, and with my injury to my meniscus, it just allowed me to focus on improving my shot, improving my form, um, making sure everything was right. And so I'd say my freshman year was a eye opener that like everything can be gone in a second with like injuries and so it just made me take everything, like be grateful for everything, like every opportunity I got. So like prior or after my freshman year, it was just mainly setting goals to play at the collegiate level. That was always a dream of mine, and so I was just working towards that after my freshman year.
And now heading into college, playing at the collegiate level, what are your goals for that now, at the next level? What do you want to accomplish there?
Um, at the collegiate level, I want to be a player slash person. I just want to be someone that can impact the program from the start, from the jump, just with like the intangibles I bring. I feel like I'm a very hard worker, and I feel like I can change a program for the better, just with who I am as a person. So I just want to help make the program the best I can be, wherever I go.
Do you have any idea what you're gonna study in college, or are you not really sure yet?
I think I might major in business, or I might do something with physical therapy.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Would you say, I guess, maybe, I don't know if you were in physical therapy, but I'm assuming, I guess, was like getting like injured and whatever that kind of make you consider doing that. I don't know if you want to do physical therapy or not though.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, like would you say getting injured that like make you consider doing physical therapy as like a career?
Most definitely. I my rehab took 7 months, and meniscus tears you can take 3 months to 7 months. So, mine my recovery was the longest possible, and it just made me want to like do research and just help guys. So that's what made me want to do PT.
Mhm. And before we get to the final segment of the interview, I was just really curious, like, where was this interview taking place for you? Like, I don't know if you got like a restaurant or something. Like, it was like a nice little location. I was wondering that.
I'm actually like with recruitment and the season being over. I just got to Florida, so right now I'm in Siesta Key, Florida.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a little nice place to be for sure. But I guess the final kind of segment I have with this interview is I took it from Duncan Robinson's podcast where him and his co-host before their interview starts, because they record their segments like I guess in pieces. So they record the intro after doing the middle part of the interview, but they summarize the interview before it starts with one word. So I've been doing that, trying to use different word every single time. So is I'm gonna say a word, and you're gonna say a word, and then let's call it a day after that. So I think the word I'm gonna pick, I think I'm gonna say, well, I can't say inspirational. I think I already said that before. I'm gonna go with journey, because I feel like with your career and everything, and almost again, got to bring it back to the whole overtime thing. It's almost like a lot of people have seen Centerville High School, when y'all got super young kids and all of a sudden, like you're a senior, you're going to college, then, with your whole recruitment where you were committed, that you're uncommitted. I think everything for you has really been just a big journey, even with your injury process. You talk about that. So I think I'm going to go with my word as journey. What would your word be?
I'd say process would be my word.
Yeah. Definitely, I think that's definitely a good word. I feel like it's a little similar to Journey, so I'm glad we're kind of both on the same say kind of spot. Makes you feel kind of good about my word selection. But anyways, make sure you guys give us both a follow on Instagram. His is at Rich_Rolf, except for Rich has two R's and then Rolf instead of an O. It's a zero. Then my Instagram's at iHoopsFL. Anyways, for 2022 Centerville High School forward Rich Rolf. I'm Isaac Fleischer, and this has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.